Well, howdy, y'all. It's time to feed the shadows once again. My name's Matt. I'm your shadow keeper, and you're watching the Umbral Almanac. This week, we're doing another batch of reviews from some of the coolest looking indie horror demos on Steam right now. I mean, seriously, there is just so much great horror to look forward to this year. There is a lot to be excited about. In case you missed the last video, and you can check it out right here if you did, we are going to be doing things just a bit different from our regular videos on the channel. Rather than doing a full playthrough, we're going to be showing some highlights. I'm going to give a full synopsis, my review of the game, and then a score based on a 5-point scale. Now there's a lot to get through in this one, so come walk with me and allow me to guide you through the shadows as we take a look at 3 of my favorite indie horror demos so far in 2026.
Attention. If you are watching this, you may be stuck in a loop.
Our first game, Capture 2, comes to us as a new addition to the booming Anomaly horror genre. I have to admit that I've fully missed this game's predecessor, but the premise is the same. Capture anomalies on camera and survive the backroom-style hellscape that was once your home. Although there are a lot of options in the Anomaly market at the moment, this one was incredibly unique in its own right. It somehow manages to capture the perfect combination of uncanny valley and routine normalcy that is just so hard to land. As you progress, each trip through the apartment becomes more and more predictable, and yet it also somehow feels brand new. After a few laps, you start to identify the more common RNG outcomes and learn how to beat the entities that occasionally haunt the halls. This can feel a bit routine by the end, but the game still finds a way to sneak in some just truly moving lore drops, as well as some other fun surprises along the way. The sound design keeps you on edge, but the jump scares really push you over. I genuinely jumped on more than one occasion in this demo, and it earned every bit of it. Between the low drone of the room noise ambiance, the occasional out-of-place footsteps, and creaks that you just can't quite place, the sound is what takes this game to the next level. As much as the sound carries the game, the visuals are no slouch either. I'm generally not a fan of the generic VHS noise overlay that so many devs are using to get that analog feel these days, but it does just kind of feel right here. The static doesn't detract from the game, and it stands out as one of the few cases that it actually does lend to the immersion. The lighting is also remarkably well designed. In a game that's illuminated entirely by a flashlight, every supplemental light serves a purpose and contributes to the overall scene. My only feedback is that the controls feel a bit floaty, and it can be tough to interact with the doors sometimes, which can have devastating consequences at certain moments. This might be a technical choice in order to add to the danger, but it did become incredibly frustrating on more than one occasion. There are also some UI issues with selecting the microphone at the start that was a little disappointing considering how much the game ended up leaning on the microphone as a mechanic. As with a lot of other Anomaly horrors, RNG can make or break the run. But for what it is, Capture 2 offers an incredible atmosphere, a unique experience, and some well thought out narrative to back it up. All said, this game is really solid, and I look forward to a full play once it drops at the end of April. I give it a 3.75 out of 5.
Say hello to my little friend.
Our next entry, Rise of the Gorecats, is a top-down arcade shooter where you play a private detective cat with one serious gun collection. The noir-inspired pixel art is beautifully striking, and the concept manages to land that perfect tone for the genre. You know, the noir detective cat horror genre. This roguelite has a lot going for it. The art is incredibly well done and immediately pulls you into the world. The combat loop is fun, and the upgrade systems ends up being super rewarding, even if it does feel a bit top heavy at first. Cathartic as the combat is, it did take some time to get there. The early upgrades felt somewhat underbalanced, and it left the game feeling a bit clunky to start. This all smooths out eventually though, and after around the 5th or so upgrade, the tempo really picks up. Waves become incredibly fast-paced and rewarding in the later stages. Once leveling balanced out, the gameplay was smooth and satisfying. The Steam page for the game claims that there's a full narrative on the way, but the demo didn't really offer any narrative that I could pick up on outside of the core premise. You know, zombie cat bad. That's not to say it doesn't tell a story. The stunning environment draws you in and makes you want to investigate this dark, twisted city. The layout of the few blocks allotted to us in this demo manages to balance a deftly strategic combat pathing with well thought out environmental cues. Given the demo's limitations, I can only hope that the final product has more levels with explorable space and a wider variety of enemies to help temper the somewhat repetitive nature of the loop. One major pro for me is sessionability. The game autosaves on each run, so starting back where you left off is a single click away. This is huge for anyone who finds themselves constantly pressed for time, me, or even someone who just wants to relieve some stress by taking out a few monstrosities before heading into work. Also, very much me. Altogether, I highly recommend this game to anyone looking for an arcadey roguelite. The gorgeous art and apt level design combined with the beautiful gameplay that is both sessionable and replayable. The game is still listed as coming soon, but rumors speculate that the full release looks closer to 2027. In the meantime, the demo is a ton of fun and absolutely worth playing to build up the hype till then. The demo earns a 3.5 in its current form, but it sounds like the devs are already working on most of the areas that I'd like to see improvement. I can't wait to re-review the game on release. This game has been making waves on the indie scene, and it's easy to see why. While it is another PSX-style work sim at its core, the concept takes notes from Mortuary Assistant with just a touch of 1 hour photo. You know, if Robin Williams were contracted by the Men in Black. Photomaly places you in your father's old photo studio as you try to follow in his footsteps by running the best damn portrait service in town. Take photos, process prints, upgrade your studio, and try to stay sane. As a work sim, this demo is solid on its own. The tasks are simple but satisfying, and the flow of work keeps you from ever standing still too long. The horror aspects of the game trickle in a way that weaves together the mundane and the supernatural brilliantly. These elements work together, making you just as invested in your work as in your survival. The demo takes us through 3 days of increasingly nightmarish routine of a newly reopened Photoshop. Your player comes to find out that your father may have been involved in some redacted activities that still managed to haunt the shop. Between maintaining paper and ink inventories, shooting and developing the perfect photos, and figuring out where that damn mannequin went, this demo is incredibly well paced and manages to keep you on your toes just waiting for the next unsettling moment. My only fault for the game is its use of AI for some of the in-game art, and also the fact that outside of waiting for the next scare, of which there are several great moments, it does become a little bit difficult to feel any sense of urgency. From what I can tell, there's little or no consequence to delaying the customers or overexposing a print. The feeling of being timed could go a long way towards building that genuine sense of dread that makes horror sims so appealing. I would love to see some of the tasks turned into mini games in the full release in order to create that underlying sense of urgency. Aside from that, the game is excellent with well-mapped sound design, fantastic use of lighting, and the beginnings of a very cool story. It manages to keep you on your toes while still drawing you into the routine of just running a Photoshop. There's no official launch date yet, but I have no doubt that this game will be an incredible entry into the genre when it finally comes out. I give it a 4 out of 5. A few minor tweaks and this game really could be close to a perfect score for me. That's going to do it for us today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you can stay notified every time we make a new sacrifice to the void each week. Now let me know down in the comments which game was your favorite and if there's any more you want to see me try out. So until next time, folks, stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep those shadows fed.